What is up? Welcome to Paranormal Street TV. I am A.P. Today's discussion is going to be specifically focused on Ouija boards. But for the new subscribers, be advised that you can go down in the comment section. I usually pin the timestamp to where you can actually skip the introduction. And so you can actually jump forward into the meat and potatoes of the actual discussion. I usually sometimes discuss certain things prior to the main subject. Okay, so I want to give you that option, and welcome to the new subscribers. Again, I hope everyone has been in the best of health and strength. I've definitely listened. I've been eating super clean, juicing. I mean, it's not even a diet thing for me. It's straight up just taking care of myself and ascending to higher heights. And I think everybody should begin to live that way. You know what I'm saying? I think I got all the unhealthy habits out of my system, and just been working out and really focusing on eating better, period. It's not, I don't even like to use the term diet, you know. I just want to eat better and make healthier choices. And that's what I've been doing. And I encourage you all to do the same and raise your vibration that way. So I want to jump into a couple of things. First thing, military veterans and mental health. So as some of you might know, right, I'm a retired federal officer, also a Marine, a veteran of the United States Marines, and I'm really proud of that service. But one of the things that I've observed is how military veterans, we get stigmatized. And when you pay attention to the people who actually stigmatize, like hold such negative beliefs towards us, it's usually people who are a couple sandwiches short of a picnic. It's usually the people whose elevator is stuck in the basement. It's also usually the people who are a couple fries short of a Happy Meal. Civilians, it's a term that's used to describe someone who has never served in the United States military or any military branch, period. I remembered one time I posted a photo of my dress blues, and a certain individual insinuated that I have crazy eyes. That individual who made that comment, I am not asking you, I am not insinuating, I'm telling you, she is a couple fries short of a Happy Meal. Now, I remember working in the federal government, right? And a lot of military veterans, we got discriminated against because the belief system is always, oh, here comes another vet, another cuckoo, don't vet crazy. And I'm like, yeah, a lot of us been through trauma, but let me be very clear about something. And this is not to speak anything negative about police officers, because I know there are good police officers out there. But it is much difficult and harder to get into the military, especially depending on the branch, than to get into a police force. It's much more difficult. Matter of fact, the police force, they like military veterans or veterans, right? But a lot of us military vets, we don't want to join the police department because it reminds us so much of the military 24/7. So a lot of us, we tend to go into other career directions unless you yourself were an MP or military police, and that is the route you want to continue to. I say all of this to say this. Check this out. There is a service or a system called Military Entrance Processing Service. I think the S stands for MEPS is the acronym. And you go through this vicious screening process for psychological issues, physical issues, you name it, right? Some people have slipped through the cracks. This is specifically for if you want to join the military. It's really brutal. You think police screening is brutal to join a police department? Try the military. Try the military. It's much more difficult to get into the military, in my opinion, than a police department. That's why there's so many crooked cops. Not to say there aren't crooked service members, because of course there are, which is why the NJP system, the UCMJ and the NJP system exists in the military, right? Our court system in the military. But what I want to get at is this. Some military veterans, it's true, their issues existed before joining the military, and then it gets worse because you're exposed to trauma, more and more trauma, and more trauma, right? But now MEPs, they've gotten so much more strict with their screening process. One little thing, sorry, we can't take you in the military. You know what I'm saying? I'm mentioning all of this because I think it's unfair to judge military veterans and their mental health all because they're a veteran. Like, I've seen TikTok comments and somebody would be like, oh, all you got to tell me is that they were in the military and I know all. So how then do you explain the crazy ass civilians who have never been a part of the military? At the end of the day, separatism is separatism, bro, because it's a much broader spectrum. It's called the human condition. Regardless of who you are, whether you were in service or not, we all got mental health issues. The people that I look down upon are the ones who refuse to get help, the ones who are in denial and continue to be in delusion about the status of their mental health. There's something called mental health fitness. You take care of your body, right? Why not take care of your mind? I know for sure I've had certain things in my life in the past, and I took my ass to therapy. And I went through every single screening process to rule out certain things, to make sure that I was good to go. So can't nobody tell me what I am or who I am. So these people who like to pick people apart, never meeting them a day in their life, because you think you know the person off the internet psychologist or the pop psychologist, and you haven't looked at yourself in the mirror. Take care of yourself and mind your business. You understand? Some military veterans, they have been exposed to certain conditions. Boot camp alone, it's not normal for the human brain. And forget it, the United States Marine Corps, it's the most intense branch. It's the elite branch of the United States Armed Forces. And these are the same people who come around and say, thank you for your service. But y'all talking shit about us. So let me tell you something. I got my military veterans back. You understand? Moving on. Energy is real. Stay away from black magic, especially if you are attempting to affect the life of another. I've mentioned this in the past, and I'm going to mention it again. Okay? Some people, especially very highly narcissistic individuals, they love to control. They love control. Everything they run to black magic. Everything. You look at them the wrong way, black magic. You say something they don't like, black magic. Certain things ain't going their way, black magic. And they send all that energy to someone. I will use myself as an example. I have never given anyone the permission to tap into my energy. Never. You're swimming against high tides, strong tides, sending negative vibration my way. You know why? I've been to hell and back. I've watched death in the face and stared it in the eyes several times. I'm still here, right? What do you think is going to happen to you, your life, and everything that you care about if you send negative vibration to somebody like me? What do you think is going to happen to you? Are you that delusional? And that's a rhetoric question, because clearly you are. What do you think is going to happen to somebody like you? You want to send dark energy or dark vibrations to somebody's way who already went to hell and back. The universe requires balance. It's a hologram universe. Okay? When you send in your dark energy, trust me, that balance is going to bounce back. And nothing, prayers, whatever you believe in, is not going to be able to save you. It's not. Take a good look at yourself. Now, Another thing I want to talk about. Pendulums. Use at your own risk. Okay? Deal with the consequences later. Consider this a warning and not a threat. Let me tell you why. If you have a pendulum, I am not coming at you. I'm not targeting you. Go ahead and use it. That's fine. Right? But understand that you're getting the vibrations and the answer from something out of this world. And you therefore are opening a portal. I am not attacking anybody. Let me make this very clear. I am generally speaking here. Okay? When you use the pendulum, right? This is why I don't mess with no tarot readings no more. I don't want to see no tarot readings no more. My consciousness and my level of understanding the spirit world and the malevolent beings behind the veils, the knowledge that I've acquired within the recent weeks, it's making me talk like this and made me come to these conclusions. And which is why I'm sending this to you guys to be careful. I never said don't use your tarot cards. Go ahead, but at your own risk. I never said don't use your pendulum. Go ahead, but at your own risk. Who do you think are giving you the answers? Angels? You don't have to agree with what I'm saying. I know what I know. Do spiritual work on yourself. Take care of your mental health. Take care of yourself. I'm very sensitive to energy, and I know when people are trying to tap into my energy. Again, consider this a warning, not a threat. Because I'm telling you, you send bad vibration my way. Be prepared to deal and face the ramifications. I think some of y'all out here, y'all doing all kind of black. I don't care how old you are. You could be 100 years old. Stop tapping into people's energy without permission. Stop tapping into people's energy to provoke and break their auric field. Your results may not happen now. That karma, that wheel of karma that I keep talking about, may not come at you now. It's going to get you. You've been warned. Okay? And to make this very clear, this is just something my spirit that came to me in spirit. You understand? And I'm telling y'all right now, man, be careful with what y'all dealing with out there. When it comes to doing all kind of this witchcraft, chill, bro. Let's jump into the topic of discussion. Ouija boards. Have you ever messed with a Ouija board before? If you have, what happened? Do you know anyone who's ever messed with a Ouija board before? What did they experience? I will tell you that when I was about 14, I was walking from school with a friend, and she suggested it. I didn't know anything about Ouija boards. I just saw it in like horror films, and I just knew it was a bad thing. She invited me to mess around with it. I never messed around with that. I don't know where she's at. I don't know where she's at till this day, but I've never messed around with Ouija boards. I don't advise that you do like mess around with it. You know what I'm saying? So let's play the first video here. This comes from Pod Talk 101, where Ouija boards came from. I want you to listen to this.
After the Civil War, these charlatans came up with these talking boards that they were going around and visiting all the widows saying, I can contact your dead husband, the soldier who died. If you can pay me this amount, we can do it with this talking board. And they made a lot of money off of these poor widows. And then that eventually became what was being known as the Ouija board, which was bought by Hasbro, toy company, and they're based in Salem, Massachusetts, the capital of witchcraft. And they have consultants who went into the development of these boards that became Ouija boards, and that they are the first to say that they asked the board what its name is, and it said Ouija, which means nothing. And the first year they went to market, the number one board game was Monopoly, and that year Ouija boards outsold Monopoly by 1 million boards. So it was embraced by the culture, like fast. Mm-hmm. And it's opening a portal right into hell.
Interesting.
So that's interesting, right? I have always wondered about the Ouija board. Just wondered. Gosh, what company was it created by again? I have a bit of a timeline here for you guys. It's pretty long. No, it's not that long. So check this out before we jump into the next video, okay? So the history of the Ouija board. Ancient roots of spirit communication. Before Ouija boards, humans were already trying to speak with the dead. I think this is something that is either innate or just was taught to us by the fallen ones or the unseen ones. China, 1100 AD. Early forms of spirit writing called Fuji were practiced. People would use a suspended stick to write messages from spirits. Spiritualism era, the mid-1800s, the United States and Europe, a religious movement centered around contacting the dead. Seances, table tipping, and automatic writing became very popular. The birth of the Ouija board, 1890s, invented in 1890 by Elijah Bond, a Baltimore attorney. He partnered with Charles Kennard and William Fuld to manufacture and sell the board commercially. It was originally marketed as a parlor game, not an occult device. The name Ouija or Ouija supposedly came during a session where the board told them what to call it. It allegedly said it meant good luck in Egyptian, and they put in parentheses, not true, but part of the mystique. William Fuld and the rise of the brand. William Fuld, a key figure in the early production, took over manufacturing and made the Ouija board a huge commercial success. Fuld became so associated with the board that many mistakenly believe that he invented it. Ironically, he died in 1927 after falling from a roof of a factory he claimed the Ouija board told him to build. Parker Brothers and Hasbro take over. So this is what I knew, like who I knew built the Ouija board. I didn't know it went back all the way to this guy, William Fuld, right? I've always seen it sold by like the Parker Brothers. I think those are the same ones who manufactured the Monopoly game. Monopoly, by the way, is a dope game. In 1966, Parker Brothers, makers of Monopoly, bought the rights from Fuld's estate. Okay. Ouija boards were sold in mainstream toy stores next to games like Scrabble and Clue. Hasbro later acquired Parker Brothers and still owns the rights today. The horror era, Hollywood and fear, 1970s to present day. The 1973 film The Exorcist was a turning point. In the movie, the little girl uses a Ouija board before becoming possessed. This shifted public perception from harmless game to tool of the devil. Religious groups began warning against using it, claiming it could open portals to demonic realms. Despite or because of the fear, it became an icon in horror movies and occult culture. Controversies and beliefs. Skeptics say it's a product of the ideomotor effect or ideomotor effect. Your hands move subconsciously without you realizing it. Believers, they claim it can summon spirits, entities, or even demons. Mediums and occultists use it cautiously, claiming it must be closed properly to avoid attachments. Pop culture and occult symbolism. The board has become a symbol of mysticism, often printed on clothing, used in music videos, and referenced in pop culture. Modern witches, mediums, and paranormal investigators sometimes still use it as a spiritual tool, but with warnings. The final takeaway. The Ouija board started as a novelty game, became a spiritual tool, and now sits in a strange space between toy, taboo, and talisman. Whether it's just cardboard and wood or a genuine conduit to the spirit world depends on who you ask. What are your thoughts on the Ouija board? Remember this. You don't have to agree with anything on my YouTube channel. I hope that you do to a certain extent, because that would mean hopefully that you're subscribed, right? Always remember, if you've been in my lives, I welcome free thinkers, independent thinkers. We are not all going to think and believe the same things, right? But I'm giving you food for thought. The same way with my introduction, I said certain things that you may not agree with, okay? I'm giving you my opinion and what I believe and what my spirit said to pretty much record on this video. You don't have to believe any of it, okay? But I really don't appreciate anyone tapping into my energy without permission. That's intrusion. So let's talk about this. The Ouija board. Even times when I think about ghosts and spirits, whether you experience the phenomena with someone or just by yourself, let's say you see an apparition or something, I still wonder, is it our mind knowing that there's light within us, right? That creates eyesight, the projection, which is what we see by way of molecules and highly programmed frequencies, hence the hologram universe. I tend to think, I said, are we creating this? Is this why some people see spirits and some don't? I'm a thinker. So that's me thinking on the critical thinking spectrum. But then the other side of me is saying, well, the spirit world is real and they're different planes. So is it also possible that with a board game like the Ouija board, is it possible that we ourselves are doing this by way of our subconscious? I'll tell you what my spirit tells me. I never vibed with the Ouija board. I think it is from the unseen ones. The beings, the malevolent ones that were made out of smokeless fire. I think that was all their idea. I think it's them, and that's how because we have to give them permission. You got to remember that. You can't just come in. You understand? We got to give them permission. And I think certain things serves as a conduit and to allow them to enter. You know, like the movie Sinners, the vampires can't come in without you welcoming them in, which is why you really shouldn't have welcome mats at the front of your door. Our environment, our planet is too spiritual. Guys, everything is spirit, which is why when I tell y'all my mindset and the way I view things, it's changed within the last 6 months or so. Because I'm observing a lot of things. I'm realizing, our planet is truly, truly very spiritual. If we could see certain things, we would be moving and operating and speaking words with better intentions. We would be careful who we cast spells on. We would be careful or more careful with whose energy we poke at or interrupt, whose energy field we affect. If only we could see certain things in our world. Let's move on to the next video. Check this out.
This is why you shouldn't mess with Ouija boards. A man by the name Nick explains that after attempting to contact whatever might have been causing all this strange activity in his new home, he fears something attached itself to him.
Should never fucked with that Ouija board.
No strings attached. I'm telling you, scientifically impossible.
Something began opening doors in his new home. And aggressively knocking over objects.
I came home from work and this was on the floor in the living room. When I picked it up, it automatically wanted to open to this page. Like as if somebody looked at this page a lot or something. And I noticed these 3 burn lines in it.
I want to stop this right here. Whatever entity, invisible entity, knocks the book off of the bookshelf, a specific book, right? Regardless of if they're malevolent or not, which in this case most likely malevolent, they're very these things are powerful. They can read things without opening the book. They're just powerful like that. Entities. Notice he said there are burn marks under there. What does that remind you of? The unseen ones. You know what I'm talking about. If you're new on this channel, go look at the video, the most recent episode where I spoke about jinns. I think this is their work. Now, the skeptical side of me, I'm like, why does that look like markers? But then it really looks like burns, right? I don't believe every single thing I see. I really do my best to use the brain that the Most High blessed me with. Let's continue.
But look what's in the middle.
But it wasn't until one day as Nick notices a mysterious video in his gallery, taken without any of his recollection, that things would take a darker turn. In the video, Nick can be seen standing in the dark as he's being filmed.
I don't have the answers or explanations for what I'm seeing with my own eyes. It's me. But I don't remember.
So apparently he saw a silhouette, like an image of himself. And you may have heard such stories like this from certain ghostly encounters where someone would say a person that actually looked like them appeared to someone else. Again, I do believe this is the work of the unseen ones. That came from the TikTok account, Dark Mooseman. What are your thoughts so far? Sound off in the comment section. Have you ever messed around with the Ouija board? All right, next video. This happened when my wife and I played with the Ouija board. I want you guys to pay close attention to this video. You ready? Let's go.
This happened then when my wife and I played with the Ouija
I'm
board.
done. Fuck that shit. So we have been here for quite a while, and I just decided to film up a little bit. So here I have this little ball here, where we're gonna have it. We're gonna ask questions so that way it can see if we can try to move it. So there has been crazy activities happening, guys. Crazy activities. So they just continue asking, right? Ready, honey? Yeah. it has been wild. So if you're here in the room, please give us a sign by moving something, please. Or blow the candle, move that ball over there, or also you can also move this as well. Communication through there, please. Show yourself by um, doing something happen, like make something happen that scares us, everybody, that like really, literally puts us on our.
What the hell?
Really don't leave the fucking board.
What the hell?
Don't leave the fucking
How am I
board.
supposed to not leave the fucking board?
You're not supposed to leave the board. You know what people been saying. Stop playing with me, woman.
Just check this out.
Here. Alright, well, guys, it has been crazy activities happening today, so.
Of course.
You ready?
You open the portal.
What was that?
Come on.
Okay, so, can you show yourself, can you actually, thank you for moving the ball, by the way, but can you actually start moving things, like communicate a little bit with us, like through this board? Is there any possible way that you could probably communicate?
Oh my god.
Oh shit,
Nope.
baby.
No,
You
I'm
serious?
done. Fuck that shit.
That came from the account Magical Poltergeist. I think is the entire name here. I can't see all of the tag. But yeah, she was like, fuck that shit. Guys, listen. This is not subconscious type of vibes or energies we're dealing with here. This is an actual portal to the spirit world. Okay, and you don't know who's gonna come to do. And apparently, I didn't even know until I did some research today that you can't. You remember when she got up and he was like, "Yo, what are you doing?" Because you have to close after you use it. You have to close it a certain way or close off the session properly. I didn't know about that. Could you imagine how many people messed around with this and didn't follow the proper steps? This is what I'm saying. Y'all want to be messing around, claiming y'all know this because y'all been this and that because y'all been doing it for years, and mess around with certain entities. Y'all go ahead. You don't know what demon you're playing with. Do not play with those beings, man. They are more powerful than you think. This next video comes from ScaryVids036. Ouija goes wrong. Let's check this out. This is an individual, and I believe, and his significant other. Let's check this one out.
All the time. But hold up, here it goes again. Yeah. Just the way it moves, it's freaky.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
On the floor now, so, you know, not on the table.
Gate.
Yeah, hold up, it's not finished. Still going.
So the spirit
Oh, this is a long one.
or the board is going to spell out gateway. I'm sure you could guess for all my Wheel of Fortune fans.
Gateway, I think.
Keep watching.
Gateway, what do you mean by gateway? You mean, oh, it might mean like a doorway or a portal or something like that. People are always warning you that. What do you mean by gateway? You'll let us know.
Careful.
Oh, I think I know what this one is.
Watch closely.
Yeah. Careful. Careful of what?
ScaryVids036 on TikTok. Now, when I saw the video today, my highly analytical mind went into motion. I'm paying attention to the plied floors, and I'm like, it could be somebody at the bottom. Ain't no way. Not based on that material that the magnifying glass is made out of. And whatever it is, it's a very strong energy field to have been moving on its own. And you can sit there and be the skeptic and say, oh, it's probably CGI. Those things exist, guys. Only one way to find out if you doubt it. I know I ain't trying to find out. I only go but so far, and that's discussing the discussion. Like, you know what I'm saying? Having the dialogue and whatever. I ain't messing with these things. This one is wild. It's open for debate, whatever you think about it. It appears to be authentic, but I look at everything with analytical eyes. This comes from the TikTok creator, Haunted TikToker. It says, shouldn't have played with the makeshift Ouija board, so you can also make one yourself. Let's rock out.
The following video shows three friends who are hanging out at a friend's house when suddenly an unsettling occurrence is caught on camera. What starts off as a simple get-together eventually turns into something straight out of a horror movie. The friend hosting the gathering is filming her friends, showing off her new camera when the following is caught on tape. This is what was captured.
¿En serio lo estás usando? Sí, en serio. ¿En serio? Si hay alguien en esta casa. ¿Hay alguien en esta casa? No jodan, ¿en serio se movió? No jodan, ¿en serio? ¿Viste? Vos sos boluda. Ay, no, fue una joda. Ay, fue una joda, basta. Pero boluda.
Check this out. Keep your eye on the glass.
Ay, pero para empezar, bien.
Right here. See that?
Una joda. Para, boluda. Estoy mintiendo, no estoy jodiendo. Para, Clarisa. Eso se movió en serio. Sí. Hay que terminar. No, mira. No. ¡Ay, boluda!
Lights went out.
Now in case you missed it, towards the end of the video, moments before the lights go out, the wine glass can be seen moving on its own once more before one of them notices. It was at this point that they realized that they probably shouldn't have played with the makeshift Ouija board, as they were deeply disturbed. Not much else is known about the video since the original source is unknown. But like always, you be the judge as to whether or not the video is real. Is this actual paranormal evidence or not? Feel free to let me know what you think down below.
What do you think? Open for discussion, okay? It is debatable. It could be somebody under the table moving something. What is the explanation? Some people say some type of invisible string. I think a lot of people, everything is energy, right? So even if you make a makeshift Ouija board, you're going to put the words and the letters to mirror the actual one. There's a reason why they're positioned a certain way. You're channeling and turning the keys pretty much into the doors of a totally different dimensional and a portal to allow certain entities to come through. Think energy, frequencies, and vibration. Okay? I'll let you sit on that one for a bit. Okay? Next video. I don't want to keep you guys too long. This one was wild. Check this one out. This comes from Liz Ward's TV. Okay? Real Ouija experience goes wrong. Check this out.
You scared? You scared? No?
I want you guys to pay attention to something. Close attention. Pay attention to the table, right? This is another makeshift, or, you know, they created their own Ouija board. Again, it's mirroring the actual board. Pay attention to the slanting of the words, the arched, you know, placements of the words. Think energy, frequency, and vibration.
None of the TV shit. I think all that shit is fake. We just gonna ask simple ass questions. We ain't hold no fucking hands. We just gonna see what the fuck happened. We made our own fucking Ouija.
Did you guys see the orbs?
Oh, we gotta put our fingers on it?
No, ain't nobody touching it. That's phony. If there's a ghost in here, he gonna move that motherfucker by his damn self.
I know you think it's cold in here too.
Don't try to scare you with the TV shit. Nobody's cold. The AC is on in the house. Don't even try. Ready. Everybody ready? Is there anyone else in here besides us? Can you hear me?
Hold on, give it a minute.
How long we gotta fucking wait?
I don't want to laugh. I don't want to laugh because you ask how long y'all got to wait, there you have it. But check this out. I want to play this back so that you guys, do you see the orbs? Check this out. Let me see if I can capture it. This young lady here, she's terrified. She's terrified. Her too, but she's terrified. Do you see the first orb? Look at it. I'm moving it back and forth. There's another much more powerful one that comes after that, I think. There it is. That is not lens flare because the camera is, trust me, I'm a photographer. So this is not lens flare. This is pure energy. Do you see that? Right over here. You see that? So I feel like there was another one after this. Yup, there it is. See that? And to some of my brilliant minds, you might say, oh, that's dust. Listen, you guys are the same ones who want people to believe in angels but don't believe in aliens. Next. That's the type of mindset some people have. No matter how much proof, it's like they believe whatever they want to. Finally, this comes from Tati's Creepy Stories. Tati's Creepy Stories. Check this out.
This is why you should never play with a Ouija board. Late one night, there were a group of soldiers that were hanging out when one of them decided to bring out a Ouija board. They went as far as lighting candles around it to really set the mood and very quickly connected to the spirit of a woman named Michelle. She then told them that both her and her boyfriend had passed away after driving home from a Grateful Dead concert, and that since they passed away, she had been looking for him but had not been able to find him. After Michelle went away, the group of men were actually able to make contact with the boyfriend, who told them to tell Michelle that he was sorry. Then they spoke to the spirit of an older woman who explained that the reason why Michelle could not find her boyfriend was because her boyfriend was in hell. And story number 2, one night there were a group of teenagers having a get together when a boy named Mark brought out a Ouija board. Soon after, they made contact with something that called itself. One of the girls that was at the get together had actually just recently saw a documentary where they talked about, so she knew exactly what they were dealing with. She urged them to cut the game off to stop playing, but Mark and the rest of the kids decided to make a joke out of it. As he continued to make fun, the board spelled out that anyone laughing would have their firstborn perish. This automatically shut everybody up and they decided to stop the game. They went as far as setting the board on fire, which is something that you should never do. Years later, 4 out of the 5 guys that were laughing, all of their wives had miscarriages with their firstborn. The only reason the 5th didn't was because he was so terrified by the experience that he chose to never have children.
I know that video was really, really low, so my apologies for that. But what did you get from that story? Now, you know, I don't know if the Ouija board is really a spiritual telephone or to open portals, or if it's really based on psychology, which is the, what is it, the ideomotor or idiomotor phenomena, where the mind is what's doing it all. I know I say I don't know, but I'm more leaning towards spirit based on the placement of the letters. And I'm pretty sure if you want to do real deep history into the founders, on the founders, and I'm not talking the Hasbro brothers, I'm talking about the William Fudd guy, I think that was his name. I bet you they went to some deep, dark stuff. I personally believe it's spirits. It's a portal, a spiritual telephone to dial into the other side. But here's the issue. You don't know who's going to answer. You don't know who's going to answer. Because I've seen some Ouija board experiences where, like, the spirit is warning them that something bad is going to happen, or the spirit is giving them a heads up about something. And then there are others where the spirit is just doing some wild, malevolent stuff to terrify the human beings around the table. So look at it as a spiritual telephone. When you dial, you don't know who's going to pick up and answer the call. And that is why I think it's quite dangerous and risky to deal with certain things. I really hope no one feels attacked with the pendulum. These are my personal beliefs. Okay? Be careful. You don't know who's channeling. You don't know who you're channeling with. You don't. You don't. I don't know. I'm not saying that it's necessarily something malevolent, but we don't know. You don't know who's going to answer that call. Okay? So I really need you guys to really keep that in mind and pay attention to the things that you choose to be and get involved with. Thank you very much for visiting Paranormal Street TV. Until next time, take care. A.P. over and out.